I'd like to introduce you to an amazing device that can sort out early morning waking for your toddler. And it's a huge issue, particularly here in Australia. As soon as the sun gets up, light hits the retina, and whooshka, they are awake. So the grow clock could become your best friend, literally. And the thing is, your child doesn't know that they're not supposed to get up before 6 o'clock. So if you'd like a little lie in, have a listen to these 7 tips for the grow clock. And there are many reasons why toddlers start waking up early, before 6 o'clock, like 5 o'clock, 5:30, because at 5 o'clock is your lowest melatonin and it's your highest cortisol in the 24-hour period. So it's a natural time for the body to start to wake up. However, most parents don't want their kids to be waking up at 5 o'clock. And the problem with it is they're starting the day with a stressed body. Likewise, you're starting your day with a stressed body. So the grow clock is a sleep training clock that can teach them that this is not what they're supposed to be doing. Now, there are a few reasons why children might do this other than the cortisol and the melatonin drop. It could be because they've got low iron stores. So always investigate, what are their iron levels? It might be worth a trip to the GP just to make sure that they're not iron deficient. Another reason is because body temperature drops at 3 to 4 o'clock. And so if they're not dressed appropriately, and as all of you know, I love merino wool clothing because it keeps your body temperature constant without allowing a child to overheat, and it wicks away moisture. So it's like central heating. It's a neutral thermal environment for your child's body, and it's great for eczema as well. So how does the grow clock work? Well, you set that clock and decide when your child should be getting up. And what you do is, if say they're getting up at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, that ridiculous o'clock, it's too far of a stretch to get to 6. So you might want to move them on by half an hour every 2 to 3 days till you get to that increment. And now when it's time for them to wake up, the sun comes up and you notice there's lots of little sunbeams around the side, and these will decrease over 2 hours and move to an LED display. Now when it's time for sleep and they should be in bed, the grow clock turns blue. And this is the display that you'll see when it teaches your child it's time to stay in bed, because the stars are there and there's stars all around the outside, and these gradually decrease as it moves towards getting up time. So you can teach your child blue means stay in bed, yellow means you can get up. Avoid using it when your child's too young. Around 18 months plus is generally the age when they can understand this concept. And particularly for 2 to 3, 4-year-olds, it can be a diamond of a thing. My sister thinks it's the best thing that I ever bought her, full stop. Now, before you start using the grow clock, it's important to teach your child about the stars, the moon, the sun, and what it all means. And luckily, the grow clock comes with an amazing book. And this has a little story in teaching your child all these concepts in a really easy to understand way. And it's important that you read this book every night for them to help, this learning become imprinted. And as with anything else that you're teaching, consistency is key. It is the king. So you keep on, and within 2 weeks you should see some improvements. And when your child responds to the rules of the grow clock, you use labelled praise. So labelled praise is talking about efforts. You'd say, well done, Oliver, for sleeping in your bed till the sun came up. High five, good work. If they don't do as the grow clock's telling them, you don't talk about it, okay? Because when you want good behaviour to be reproduced, you talk about the positives. You don't talk about negatives. Because if you talk about negatives, that's all you're ever going to see. So avoid those. But use labelled praise. It's talking about effort. Okay? Now, and lastly, don't expect the grow clock to work miracles. it is not a miracle worker. Some children respond to it extremely well, some will never respond to it. Keep it out of reach. Don't allow them to have access to it, because some little clever ones can override the mechanism. So put it on a shelf out of reach, and don't show them that you are setting the time. And they're all my top tips. So I hope you like all those, and I hope it works. So good luck.